All right, so let's get into it. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? We've got a Jabber Jaws versus Variation in the third round. Yes, third round of the weekly tournament. This time S- tier and below. Chaac and Bastet. We haven't seen any Bastet yet. We actually haven't seen any Chaac. Didn't think either of these would get picked up that much, actually. I feel like not that many people have that much confidence in Bastet. She kind of goes overlooked in a lot of situations, but no, Jabber is confident in it. What's up, Maseratis? How you doing?
How do you like that?
Hey, I'm glad to be back.
It's not my fault. Unforeseen incident made Maseratis have to not cast the last game.
Yeah, no problem.
He was a champ about it.
We see Chaac at the moment really bullying the Bastet, and this is how I expect the matchup to go early game. Bastet really taking some time to get some penetration items online. And Chaac, he's a pick and go kind of character. You pick him and immediately you do damage.
Yeah, I think the real problem for Bastet is some of her hardest matchups are warriors. When she can't pick off the target and just, you know, try to find them in a rough spot and just call them out and dump everything on them and come out with the kill, she is really at quite a disadvantage. It's pretty much just her entire character. Wow, that is quite a start for both players. I can't even believe neither of them died there. The Aegis from Jabber actually wasn't even necessary. I don't think he immuned anything. The jump had already landed as far as I'm sure.
Yeah, not the best Aegis, but he does pick up the red buff, so advantage to Jabber at the moment. Interestingly enough, the Bastet has picked up the beads. What do you think of his beads pickup by the Bastet?
Oh, I don't know. That is incredibly strange. I guess, obviously, it's got to be for the silence on the ultimate, but I don't see... I don't know.
Yeah,
I would never imagine that. See, look, like, what is Beans doing here for you? I don't know, my man. It would have been good to have Aegis, you know?
Yeah,
that's kind of strange. Yeah, a very strange pickup, given especially that Bastet can avoid the ultimate from Chaac so easily. You know, her jump is so quick, and she's just, yeah, she can navigate around it. She can either jump it or jump back it, and wow. Strange pickup from Variation. I'm even considering if maybe it was a misbuy, but no, I guess he was just really respecting the silence. But his big misplay there was staying too long with too little mana, and that's one of the biggest problems Bastet faces in Duel, is that she has such high mana consumption.
Yeah, Chaac on the other hand, the complete opposite. His passive granting him a free ability after he lands a number of auto attacks. So definitely another reason why this early game goes to Chaac, but Variation doing a lot of damage here. The cats come out, and that is the second kill of the game goes to the Bastet.
Yeah, strange play from both players. Jabber just walking straight up to that blue buff and like full committing to it. Just, I don't know. Knowing that Variation still has cats, I guess he just completely forgot about it, given that he dumped his, oh, this could be bad for Variation if he owns himself here, but I think he's keeping enough. Wow, Jabber still gets that blue buff. And he's gonna be able to, nope, not jump out there. I guess he was probably still in the wall then, his one.
Yeah, the silence did come into play there as well, stopping him from jumping.
Yeah, just I guess he was in the wall with the jump before the silence. I mean, because I'm surprised to not see it come out earlier. Maybe he was still on cooldown.
Did he jump into the blue buff to do damage?
I think he did, but he was there for so long.
You can't forget Bastet has incredibly long cooldowns in the early game without a Jotun's Wrath or a Breastplate of Valor. And speaking of the Breastplate, that's what I expect to come out. It's a second item for Bastet.
Yeah, definitely. It'll help him out with the mana as well. Of course, that not being the top priority, but it is very, very important for her to get it because, like we were pointing out, she's got a really tough time just keeping herself in the game in the early, because she can expend abilities and poke so well, Bastet, but it comes at a price. And once that mana bar starts to really deplete, you know, she's gonna have to force herself back. So you don't want to poke somebody and end up forcing yourself out. That's, you know, that's the worst case scenario. Completely just nullifies everything that you did.
Blue buff being picked up, cats come out, but the buff does go to Jabber Jaws with a simple axe to the ground. Jabber really taking on this game into his own hands here, definitely keeping his lead and keeping up the pressure.
Yeah, I love this play from Jabber. I forgot how aggressive he's willing to be. We're seeing a lot of more passive play coming out of some of the newer players, whether it be just by whatever gods that they have more of a preference for, or yeah, just I don't know, or personal inclinations. But Jabber always willing to take it to the enemy, and Chaac is that kind of pick. You know, you have to do just that because he is an early game monster. He definitely does fall off quite a little bit, especially once the opponent starts to get more anti-heal online. Without anti-heal against Chaac, it's a nightmare. But once you get a comfortable amount and you're able to poke him and actually have it stay relevant, that's when he starts definitely falling off and having a harder time.
Yeah, agreed. I want to see Variation play a lot more passively now, just concentrate on getting as much farm as possible and wait until he has full beat stick and some penetration like a Titan's Bane online, and then he can look to start poking away at the Chaac and getting his damage actually on the Chaac without it just being healed up and negated by the massive heal coming out from Chaac.
Yeah, aside from that one flub from Jabber at this exact spot, actually, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time. He's had such a commanding lead, and he's been showing so much dominance on the Chaac. Knows exactly what he should be doing, securing the buffs with his one appropriately every time. Chaac has such amazing buff secure in the early game, probably one of the best, if not the best, just because you leveled the one, it gives you so much burst, and it's a quick move that just, you know, boom, the buff is yours. So as long as he's throwing that out at the right times, he should be able to command the jungle this game. But it's easy to sometimes when you have such a dominant stance. Oh, this could be big. Nope.
Cats do come out for the anti-aggression, but and it is enough. Jabber just walks away. Not enough to do enough damage to look for a kill, but enough damage to make the Chaac think twice about going in.
Huh. That's an interesting ult from Jabber. I really like it though, actually. He gets a lot of pressure back, but Variation beats the ultimate there.
Yeah, beating the silence, allowing him to jump away and live, basically. I actually do like the beads coming out from Variation in that instance, but I'm not sure that would be the active of choice I would pick up.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to be careful about your jumps, aggressive jumps when he has the ult, I feel like. But I guess what he wants to do is be able to make sure that he can jump in, and then if he needs to respond to an ultimate beads, you know, once the jump back has expired, he wants to be able to then beads and jump out, but it's on cooldown anyway. I just feel like more selective use of the jump is the better call. But you know, it's up to Variation however he wants to play it, and we'll see if it ends up working out for him anyway. Now the build for Jabber is really interesting. You don't see Transcendence like at all anymore. I've condemned the shit out of this item, but in very specific cases. Alright, now I've pretty much condemned it in almost every scenario. Jabber might be overstepping a little bit here. But no, a poorly placed jump this time. Oh, if he had used that Shield of Thorns any other time, that would have definitely been a dead Bastet. Looks like he completely forgot about it, huh, Maz?
Yeah, agreed. Really strange use of the shield. Perhaps
yeah, I think he actually did forget about it, because you see he popped it exactly like as the engagement was ending, like, oh shit, I had this too.
What do you think of the shield's pickup? I actually quite like it. I think it could be very good into the constant tick damage of which Bastet's putting out there.
Yeah, exactly. The 2 damage from Bastet is so significant, and it's one that, you know, you can't take back. It keeps ticking away, and she can't do anything about it if she activates Shield of Thorns. It's just going to be all of that damage reflected back onto him. And Bastet is also just such an all-in character that if he pops it early on in the engagement, once her jump is like, once the jump back ability has like expired, then, you know, it's pretty guaranteed she has to take the fight there, and it's, you know, it's your time to shine with that Shield of Thorns on your side.
Jabber going for a second defense item. Looks like either Breastplate of Valor or Hide of Enemy in Line. We'll see which one he picks up. But cats do come out, fight happening, a lot of damage into the Bastet. Ult comes out by Chaac. Interestingly enough, beads come out. I guess that was just for the extra to stop the silence and get that one out, but not
Yeah,
enough
might have
damage
worked
from
out for him
Duel.
with without that Aegis coming into play from Jabber.
Aegis
But once
extended.
again, Variation put himself in a position where he's going to get hit by that jump. But he keeps just kind of putting himself right off with that jump for the ultimate coming in. Just the timing has
I
been
like the
a
play of
little bit
Jabber.
off.
I like Jabber's play of just completely backing up and then just waiting until his heal comes back and just
Yeah.
sustaining all that health back. And that's a definite advantage which Chaac has in this matchup. If both of them do a lot of damage, Chaac could just back up and heal it all up and then go in again and look to do and confirm that kill.
Yeah, but he knows his shock. And this build, I mean, he must know his shock because this is not something that I think most people that are just picking one of the better warriors available in the tournament would go into. You know, Transcendence, Gladiator Shield. Gladiator Shield gives you such a great early game presence. The cooldown on it is really nice, and the power defense is just such a great item because it gives you so many stats. So many relevant stats. Then, of course, it also adds to healing, and that's, you know, phenomenal for Chaac, a god that's already all about the early game sustain. Coupling that with the Transcendence to make sure that he can get it comfortably stacked with early game pressure on his side means that he's going to be rocking a big late game build, like a lot of damage coming out for him, and he just wants to be able to out damage the Bastet, it looks like, head to head.
I like the Transcendence pickup as well because Chaac's heal is actually based off 15% of the damage he has. The heal is based off it. So having extra power means he'll get an extra heal. So I quite like that. Ooh.
I legitimately had no idea. Jabber might have misstepped here, though. He used the ultimate on the Bull Demon instead of prioritizing it on Bastet, and it doesn't matter because he has healed so much between his heal and the Bull Demon. And as you can see, like we were talking about earlier, until you have anti-heal online, Variation is feeling the wrath of Chaac right now. This guy is fully healed, barreling down on this Phoenix.
Just another storm for Chaac, that heal coming into play. I like it. Another reason I like the Transcendence pickup as well is because he never needs to back, like,
right, yeah. It's true, and it absolutely allows him to power down all of these structures the way that he's been doing, and Variation can't say much about it. I think he's reaching here, though. There's no way that's going to hit now. But either way, pressures him out a little bit more to ensure that this Phoenix hits at 12 minutes and 30 seconds.
Phoenix goes down, and it's looking like Jabber's game. But we can still see some plays out of Variation. As we said, Bastet does come online in their game, and I think she does have this like in the late game. We'll see if Variation can play this matchup to use the character's strength and really get online.
This is where Jabber's probably going to go down for the first time. Let's see. Oh, wow, it's a lot closer than it should be just because of how big Jabber's gotten. But I think, yeah, there we go. The one is going to spell death for Jabber.
Yeah, because that's that. Really good play from Variation. And that matches the experience as well, both are now level 15. Really big thing for the Bastet to get that kill.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the Variation's actually been farming quite well, and while Jabber is taking down these objectives and things, he's making sure, you know, he's keeping a smart presence about him, not too forward where he's able to. Oh my God, ambulance. I hope everybody's okay. I hope everybody's okay, but damn it, guys. All right, but yeah, so you yeah, I've lost it. I've lost it, Moss.
Sorry, I'll take over. I don't remember. I was.
You weren't listening. It was a test. You can't cast next week. Oh my God. The other mods set you up. They told me that you haven't actually been listening to what I've been saying. So they said throw out like some sort of ambulance. They had me find this toy car.
But yeah, Chaac is going into it.
Wow, look at that damage. If only he had a big Sunder right now. So this is the point where Variation's gonna have a really hard time actually with with Jabber's build. The double defense, once he turns that Gladiator Shield into Nemean particularly, if he does, which I think would be the play. Oh, wow. As you can see, it's just not enough burst damage coming out for Bastet, and she can't transition into auto attack, and that is why Chaac is able to just keep fighting into her and pushing things down, because burst damage gets so easily negated by this. Oh my, yeah, but not if you, oh god, not if you overstay that much, perhaps.
Wow, what a play by that guy. Can you believe it? Man, I mean, that guy is talented. Huge win there for that guy.
Agree with Spiff completely. That guy, oh my god.
I can't believe that guy just stayed in that engagement. That is actually crazy.
Wow.
Although what he should have done, if he was going to stay, he needed a 2. I would have 2'd, but of course Variation would have had the option to jump over him and just, yeah, no. Spell disaster, right, Spiff?
But I'll tell you what, that other guy really killed it.
Oh,
Congrats
that
to
other
him.
guy, yeah.
He did great.
Wow.
He did great. I thought that guy did great, but also that other guy, also great.
So many guys in this matchup.
Okay.
Yeah, it's honestly hard to keep track.
Yep. Good job, guys. Great work.
But great work
Thanks,
from the
Spiff, you
Bastet.
Yep. Nope. Anytime, please.
Goodbye, Spiff. But great job from the Bastet, picking up that kill and now getting the Phoenix back up. Huge accomplishment for the Bastet. And we'll see if he can continue this, because it's getting late game. Bastet is really starting to come online. He has that Brawler's Beat Stick, he has max cooldown, he's going into that Shifter Shield. Can we see the comeback? Can we see Bastet take this? What do you think, Shadow?
I don't know. It's been some just oversteps from Jabber. I don't like seeing him just pile onto the, oh wow, Shield of Thorns down there. That is a high priority active in this fight, and Variation's going to be very happy to have taken it down. Yeah, I don't like to see how much he's just trying to end the game immediately without really taking into account the potential of Bastet. You know, I mean, she's got a triple pen build online right now. There's no way, well, you know, what I'm saying about Warriors having an easier time putting up with Bastet poke and just, you know, all-in burst is true. There's no way that you can just ignore her completely while you're on the Titan. You can't fight her, Cats, and the Titan all at once, and it's up to Jabber to recognize that and apply the right amount of pressure and not overextend himself too much.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think Jabber became a bit overconfident, thinking this game was over already and just trying to rush for that Titan and try and just end the game. But in doing so, he gave Bastet that chance to come back, and it's becoming harder and harder as this game goes on for Chaac to really get this game into his hands. We see the Bastet coming online, we see more damage coming out.
I can't believe he jumped back into that.
Does he no cooldown? Axe comes out, not enough damage.
Yeah, doesn't have the time to get the 2 out, but has an easy Phoenix here. I like that he went the Executioner. At first, I wasn't so sure about it, especially he's, you know, meshing it with the Titan's Bane, so it's not doing its, you know, its full work. But it helps him a lot against the objectives. To shred them even more quickly, and it helps him a little bit more on the Cats. But I still want him to sell that Gladiator Shield at this point in the game to get a anemia. And he needs more defense online.
Yeah, I agree. I do like the Gladiator Shield in the early game just to get that power and defense on him. But coming into the late game, I agree. Yeah,
once again, you can see Jabber overextending because he uses the ultimate and then he pursues. You know, he continues to push the offensive there, knowing that Variation, he's just not respecting him enough. He's got all of his actives up, he's got a Sunder up, and yet he's just giving that to Variation. You would think at this point that it's just all coming into Bastet's hands, the late game going easily to her, but it certainly is not the case. It's just Jabber not showing enough respect.
Yeah, a lot of overcommitting coming in, but at the same time, this is where Bastet shines. It's late game now. Bastet is online.
Oh yeah,
it's
agreed.
very
For sure.
hard for the Chaac just to fight into the Bastet and win and even trades now. He needs to be looking for poke game to get some damage off, heal it up, and then go in again. That's what I want to see the Chaac doing now, because I don't think he can just completely full commit and win the fight now.
Right, yeah, for sure. And the Executioner, definitely, it could have been a Chins as well. Like I was noting, it not being as effective as the Titans. So it's not his best pickup. But like I just like the idea of going an auto attack item to make that clear. Personally, I would have probably gone the chance, or I would have definitely gone the chance in this circumstance. But you know, an auto attack item I think is a good call. He does finally go into the Height of the Nemean, and that should help him a lot here. Let's see if he can actually just rein it in and choose the right fight.
But we saw Chuck's strengths earlier. We're now seeing his weaknesses. It's become later on in the game, and we're seeing the Chuck struggle to end the game. Very difficult for Chuck in the late game. We'll see how Jabba plays and how he responds to this. A lot of damage
This
coming
could
out.
be it. Yep, there you
That's
go. Jabber, like, wow, finally did exactly what he needed to do there, right? Just waited it out, made Variation expend all of his options. Variation actually was the one a little bit too early to pull the trigger there, given that he still had his actives on cooldown. So had he had the Sunder and Beads, that could have been a different fight. But Jabber, you know, reined it in, recognized, listen, this has been my game all game, and I've just been throwing it at the last moment. So let's just pick the right fight, and he did do that.
Definitely not a clean game by Jabba, but in the end, he did what he needed to and took the game.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do. I think that matchup was primed for him. You know, it was very, very great pick for Chaac. That's the kind of thing you want to see when you go into it. As long as you don't dawdle too much and allow her to get that late game. It almost came out to the strength of Variation. He was doing some really nice stuff, but unfortunately for him, it just didn't pan out.
Really well played by the GG.